Hey guys, it's Dave. Continuing my Q&A session with my friend Paul this week, and this question he asked me how to tell the difference between an experienced and an inexperienced agent. I'm going to come in after I answer the question on the original recording and add a little bit to it because I kind of stopped at the pre-listing side of things, how to tell kind of before the marketing and all of that kind of stuff. But didn't really elaborate on what would happen once you're in a transaction with an inexperienced agent and how you would overcome obstacles that come up and often do, and how to deal with negotiations and all of that kind of stuff. So I'll pop back in through the magic of television at the end and elaborate a little bit more. Here's my Q&A with Paul on how to tell the difference between an experienced and an inexperienced agent.
How can you tell an experienced agent from an inexperienced agent?
Yeah, I think an experienced agent is going to be willing to pony up a lot of money to sell your house.
Really?
Yeah, because if they've been around the block, they've got the funds, they know what it takes to properly market a house, where an inexperienced agent is going to go on the cheap. They don't have they haven't established the business part of things, and so fronting out $600 for a video or $400 for photos or 3D tour and all of the printed marketing, postcards, all of that kind of stuff. An inexperienced agent's not going to have the bank to throw that out up front, and then hope to get it back. So you need somebody that's willing to spare no expense.
Okay. Are you willing to put some numbers on it? So if I have a really nice house, it's $500,000. That's what it's on the market for. You as a realtor, what would you come in and do to market that? And are you willing to put some numbers behind it? How much
as far as the cost?
How much does a video cost?
A video with the audio, what do you call that?
Voiceover.
Voiceover, thank you. A video with a voiceover is about $600.
Okay.
A 3D tour on those Matterport scanner things that does a little thing in each room that you can kind of virtual headset walk through is $200. Professional photography is $200. Postcards are about $100.
That's $1,000 right there.
Yeah.
600 plus 400. So it's $1,000 in marketing so far in just pictures and video.
Yeah, and we haven't shown it to anybody yet.
Right. Okay. So it's $1,000 out of your pocket.
A postcard is about $1 a piece. So if you're trying to advertise it as just listed and things like that, and you actually want the print mail, which is making a comeback. People get less and less mail these days, and actually because Amazon is giving them like little packages in their centralized mailbox, people are checking them in more frequently. And so a just listed postcard is going to stand out, and that's $1 a card. So if you're doing a 100 or 200 radius or something like that, then you've got the print flyers, you've got the sign in the yard, you've got Facebook advertising, which I'm always doing, especially if there's an open house going. We're doing a radius search around the house, so anybody driving by is going to know there's an open house. It's over 1,000 easy, pushing 2,000. If you're a higher end home and you want to be in Luxury Magazine or any of these other things, some people will actually print hardbound books.
I've seen those.
So you get those. It's a nice little souvenir for the buyer to keep when they do buy the house and stuff like that.
So that's $2,000, $2,500 to market the home, so that you're helping people get the highest value for their property when they're trying to.
With no guarantee you'll ever see that money again. If the house doesn't sell, or if something they change their mind, or the listing contract goes expires, that's just something that you have to front and hope that you can do the best job you can and get it closed. So an inexperienced agent is going to be. That's where we see these cell phone photos and things like that. This is a newer agent that doesn't have the capital to really go all in, and is hoping that they can get by with some iPhone photos and get by on the cheap.
Yeah. I didn't know it was that much out of your pocket each time. And again, it's no guarantee. It's actually a risk on your part when you market these houses.
Right. Now, there are agents that will charge
if you cancel your contract or something, they'll try and recapture some of those expenses, and that's understandable if there's an expectation that the listing will be 6 months and you change your mind after 30 days or something like that.
Which is why you push so hard to have the house marketed and priced correctly. So if people think my house is worth $800,000, but all the other houses with the same comps are $650,000, it's unrealistic that the house is going to sell.
Yeah, and even then we're going to do a range, because like I've said in a previous question, the only way we're really truly determining the price of the house is if we present it to as many people as possible in its best light. So we have to kind of take that action first and see how the market dictates the price. So we're asking a price and we're advertising it to as many people, but ultimately the market is going to determine the price. So we'll have a range. We think it's between $650, somewhere in there, depending on where we think the market is trending, whether we'll try the high side of that, mid-range of that, or low range of that. But it's ultimately going to be determined by the market who's going to want to pay a price. And I had another thought in there. What did you say exactly?
Too high a price, $800,000, $600,000.
So realistic expectations for the seller is very important, and we'll analyze things in different ways. We'll look at price per square foot. We'll look at views or any other amenities that will offset the price per square foot. Updates, there's people go to Zillow and they say Zillow thinks my house is worth blank, but Zillow hasn't been in your kitchen. They haven't seen your view. They don't know what your backyard looks like. They don't know that you put new carpets or hardwood floors, or all of your neighbors have done that, and that's why they think your house is worth that, and you haven't done that yet.
You still got 1972 linoleum.
Right.
Sweet.
And so, we do have to talk people into different prices a lot of times. And I'll ask when I'm doing a listing appointment with someone, I'll ask them what they think it's worth. What are they hoping to get out of this? And then we'll do our analysis. I will look at some brief numbers before meeting in person with a client, but until I go into their kitchen and walk around the house and see, for real what the house is like, then I'll pull up my iPad and we'll crunch numbers together and come up with a price that way.
Because you're dealing with real data in real time.
Absolutely. I'll have kind of a rough estimate, but until and that's the one thing that Zillow can't do, or any of these other online things they can't do. They don't know what it's like to be in your house, see what, the updates you've done or haven't done. What's the neighborhood like? What's the backyard? What's the view? All of those things.
So other things to consider, like I mentioned, is what happens when you get into a transaction and you've got an agent that's not doing this full time or hasn't, experienced a lot of difficult experiences in transactions like roof leaks or mold in the attic or failed septic tanks or sewer lines that are party lines attached to your next door neighbor's sewer line, or all kinds of the different things that we come across. So that's another thing that you might want to ask an agent when you're interviewing or when you're getting ready to sell your house, is what are some of the scenarios that they've had to overcome. I've got a listing right now. The house was built in 2013, so it's, newer code, all this good stuff. It looks great from the outside, and then yet when the home inspection comes across, it looks like when they had the cable installed, they popped the roof flashing off where the main power comes into the house and fished the cable lines underneath the flashing and into the house. So any water that comes in off the roof runs right down underneath the flashing and into the main electrical line that comes into the house. So just because it's a new home doesn't mean that you won't have issues that come up, and you need to have good contractors. You need to have a willingness to negotiate with the buyer for the cost of repairs if you're doing repairs, protecting the seller and the buyer from issues down the road, just all kinds of weird stuff that we come across doing real estate. No home is the same as another, and it doesn't fit in a cookie cutter box, and every new listing, every new sale is a new experience. So the more experience you've had, the better you are in handling objections and overcoming obstacles. So That's all I have to say about that. If you've got questions that I can answer in a future Q&A, I would be happy to do that. You can comment below, you can direct message me, you can call me, and I'd be happy to answer that. I want to do kind of a Q&A series. I want to know what you guys want to know, and I'll help to answer it in a future video. Thanks for watching.